This week's Parshas is Parshas Mishpatim. Parshas Mishpatim deals primarily with very specific laws, the laws of slaves, the laws of borrowing, the laws of damages, and so on. Very specific and extremely elucidated by contemporary halachic authorities because of their applicability to regular life. What happens if you damage someone else? How do you acquire a slave? How does a slave become discharged? And so on. The parsha begins with the introduction by saying, "Ve'ela ha'mishpatim asher tasam lifneim," and these are the ordinances, the laws that you shall place before them. Rashi and others discuss why specifically over here do we start off with the word "and," which is abnormal. We never say "and this." You just should say, Eila HaMishpatim, these are the ordinances. What's "and" these are the ordinances, the laws. So Rashi says that the Vav, the "and," is to tell us that these laws were said at Mount Sinai just like the other laws, just like the Ten Commandments. Lest we think that the Ten Commandments are what was actually given, was communicated by God to Moshe Rabbeinu, and the rest of it is not necessarily imperative. Now this is a very important and significant thing to think about. Our laws are just as important as our values. In Torah, we don't view values, the Ten Commandments, which are generally viewed as not only imperatives, but also a general direction of where the Jewish people should be. We don't view that in a box. They are to be viewed with all of the laws and given significant consideration and importance, no matter how minuscule it may seem the law is. Every minute factor of law is just as important to our values as are the values themselves. And we see this also in other parshas. It says in Parshas Shoftim, it uses the language of Mishpat Tzedek, which literally means righteous law. But seen by themselves, the two words seem to be totally in contradiction to each other. Tzedek, tzidkus, tzedakah means to do kindness, to be righteous, to do what is right, which sounds like something which supersedes the law, to do something which is beyond that which is required by law. Mishpat means judgment, justice. And justice is something which is within specific guidelines. It doesn't require a judgment call. There's a code of law, and you follow that law to the letter. So the juxtaposition of Mishpat and Tzedek is very interesting. And it's the same idea as this, what we were just talking about, that righteousness, what is right, and what is within the parameters of law are one and the same in Judaism. We don't view the code of law and the code of ethics as two separate books. The code of ethics is the values that are implemented by the code of law to the letter, with no exceptions. Just a quick question on this week's parsha. It says, Ki hashochet ya'aver einei chacham v'yisalef divrei tzadikim. It says that bribery will blind those who could see and will twist and corrupt words that are just. The question is that if the words are truly wise, let's say there is a court case where if there was no bribery, if the justices were not influenced, the victorious party would be the victorious party either way. Who cares that there's bribery or influence involved? Because that would seem to be what the verse is contemplating. They're corrupting the words of the just. You're blinding the eyes of those who could see, meaning they can see, and the words are just, but still somehow they become corrupt and blind. How does this happen, and how do we resolve this seeming contradiction? Have a good Shabbos.